My name is Sarah Kjelleren. I'm a photographer, multimedia artist, and social entrepreneur. One of my dreams when I was younger was to bring the experiences and amazing people I'd come to later know in my life back to my childhood home in my small town of South Hero, Vermont. As a photographer, I've captured images of incredible people, but the conversations I've shared with them during our shoots has perhaps left a bigger impact on me than any portrait, intimate moment, or lifestyle image that I've shot. During a shoot, I really learned so much about what drives people, what scares them, what inspires them, and in turn, I'm learning more about myself. The world needs more stories of hope, inspiration, and positive change. In this Sea Change series, I'm welcoming you to my childhood home in the island of rural South Hero, Vermont, to be part of a shoot and conversation with some incredible people. We'll talk about their journey, their vision for a better world, leadership, and the importance of creativity. Please allow me to introduce you to Everard Findlay. This is awesome.
Awesome.
We're walking in. Hold on, I messed it up already. Do I walk in? Oh, this is great. You couldn't have probably ordered better weather.
Yeah, this is like unbelievably perfect.
It's great. I can see myself right now, but I can't see. Try hitting the top button just once.
Yeah, we're hot, we're live. Yeah, Sarah, we're chilling at your hometown where you grew up.
Yeah, welcome to the garden, South Hero.
Nice, yeah. It was really lovely meeting your papa. Super cool dude.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love how the interview just switched to you having this.
Yeah. I turned it on you. I interview you now instead of you interview me.
Let's go. So where do we even start? I mean, you're one of the most creative people I've ever met, and
Whoa.
I mean, it's gotta come from somewhere. Like, tell me a little bit about your upbringing and like, you know, where this kind of stems from, this like curiosity and creativity.
On a day you say that. I don't know, maybe I grew up in the islands. I grew up in Trinidad and Tobago, and I think my creativity, I would say, stems from parents who kind of live in a lot of different worlds. You know, the carnival, the diversity of the people. A very diverse country. Grew up with friends from all walks of life. You know, I think for any person who's really creative could probably, you know, you could attest to this feeling too, like a drive to, if you could dream something, how do we make it happen? You know, if you look at every major thing that has changed or affected the way we live in the world, I think that aspect of recognizing different forms of intelligence is kind of recognizing that people from different fields can come up with creative solutions or have come up with creative solutions, and creativity is something that should be assigned to all forms of impact agents in the world. That's what I believe.
What was there a point that you just knew the first project you wanted to do? Was there a spark, or did you just see something and be like, I'm gonna do a little piece to make this better?
In the younger teens, like you know, like where I was like 13, 14, I mean, all my brothers, we would have to go, like my mom will make us go feed people or go, and because my mom grew up really challenged, right? She grew up eating fruits off of her trees and wearing her brother's shoes, and my mom will make my brothers and I go and feed people or work in certain areas, and I really did not like it at first. I was like, you know, because I wanted to get to the beach or go out with my friends. And then I remember looking at my mom. I see she in the distance, she starts moving really fast through the crowd. And I'm looking at her and I'm saying, oh, I wondered what she was doing. But she was chasing after this woman and her daughter. And the woman was holding her daughter's hand. And I'm looking at my mom from behind, and I'm looking at this woman, and in a split second I'm thinking to myself, why is my mother going to try to give lunches to that lady? There's no reason for that. The lady's in perfect, you know, she looks great. My mother's gonna embarrass herself, because I was carrying all that angst, right? She's gonna embarrass herself trying to give a lunch to somebody who's not challenged or poor or whatever the label is. But my mother touched that woman, and the woman turned around and like hugged my mom. And it makes me emotional thinking about that time, like hugged my mom, and my mom gave her lunch, and it was like she was so grateful, and her little daughter was really grateful too. And at that moment, I started crying right there in the middle of the square, because we were downtown Port of Spain, and for me, it was a moment where I was like, wow, my mother can see what I cannot see. My mother could look through the crowd and she could see that, all right, this lady is working hard to get to the next place so that she can take care of her family. And my mother was looking at the world through a very different lens than I was. So at that moment, I probably was about 15. That changed my life, yeah.
So speaking a little bit about our parents or our elders' influence on us, now you're in a space where you have your own family, and that's so beautiful. And the things that you've gone out into the world and are understanding now and are building projects to help create like better future for people, how do you feel like that affects your kids?
It makes them know that everything's possible, and I think that's like the dream of, I think, any father. Like for me, it's like I want my kids to know that it's despite all the challenges, it's possible. You can do what you dream of. And it also, like you said, that warms my heart to watch a lot of young kids and adults realize, wow, it is possible to do things in a different way. It is possible for us to celebrate the history of motion and creativity in this intersection of science and art. And I feel like it's a dream for them to grow up believing that all things are possible, So if I can accomplish that, Sarah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm also excited to hear more about your Planetary Self project, and I feel like it has some key things that kind of like are interwoven into the other project, where you're bringing people from all different backgrounds to see, or to at least shift their perspective. You want to talk a little bit about what that's about?
It's based on how is the individual, the self, connected to the planet, right? So it's planetary self. The individual is connected to the collective. So through the work that I feel fortunate to have done over the years, I see sometimes there's disconnect between people. But if you speak to people, you realize that there are these basic core things, needs that we all have, and we all have this ability we want to express what those things are. So with Planetary Self, I started asking individuals to come together just based on that conversation of, hey, what does a shaman in the rainforest have to do with a medical doctor who's working on challenging issues? What does a physicist, how is he connected to a guy that created electronic music who just thought about outer space and what it must sound like? And how does a fisherman in a fishing village get affected by a government official who is writing policy about specific things? And we just had the exciting opportunity. We created a way in which we can do that, where we can project the planet into conversations and people hold their own agency within that conversation. So we've done stuff on everything from homelessness to how do we look at regenerative systems for planetary awareness, and how does every individual participate in this goal, this common goal.
And you've seen a lot of things that can be really tough to pull yourself away from, like mentally. And as far as like, if somebody's going through a hard time, we've all gone through so much in the last few years, like what are some pieces of advice that you would give to young creatives or people that are wanting to become change makers to help pull them out of that rut or that valley that they might be stuck in?
to dream. I know for me, I was like people would say you're dreaming, but it was almost like as a young creative, it was like almost like an insult at times, like when I had challenging situations, because my mind worked differently, and they would say you're Findlay, you're dreaming, I think I realized that now is actually a magnificent thing. I would say to all those young creatives out there, you have to dream, but to give yourself that space to, or try to, even if it's for a moment, just to breathe, and to dream, and it is really important. So for me, it's no longer an insult if somebody says I'm a dreamer.
Right. That's a beautiful thing. It's a great compliment. So how do you feel like creativity can help solve some of like the social and climate and political issues that we're having right now?
I think creativity in all its forms, people are striving, in many different ways to address those issues. I would say really helping every individual understand that they also can contribute, like there's a way for us all to contribute if we participated in this creativity. And I do believe that creativity is a very necessary ingredient in us, for us to change the world, to create the things that we want to see.